Okay, I'm sorry I have to do this again, but I know transformers are going to take me a little bit to explain, so I'm just making another full video. This is the electrical circuit diagram drawing of a transformer, this element right here. Now, this is just a general symbol for an AC voltage source. What I want you to do is imagine this as the generator in the steam power plant, right? And so that's basically inducing, I think it's around 10,000 volts, 10 kilovolts. And what they do at the power plant, well, actually, no. Let me take a step back and explain more fundamentals first. So here's a more fundamental diagram of a transformer. So you have two sides to every transformer. There's the primary side and the secondary side. And all a transformer is, it's very, very simple device. It is one coil of wire connected magnetically to a secondary coil of wire. Now, in this diagram right here, these coils are actually connected via an iron core, which redirects the magnetic field. The magnetic field. So when a voltage or when electricity flows through a wire, right? When just any old wire, it will create a magnetic field. Admittedly, it is a weak field, but if you turn this wire into a coil, every single turn, there's an electric field. And for every single turn, this electric field, it's not an electric field, it's a magnetic field. It's like a magnet that's made by electricity. This is how they make electromagnets, right? They literally just make coils of wire. And if you run electricity through a coil of wire, it will create a decently powerful magnetic force. And so what this does, this iron core, is it takes the magnetic field and it channels it through the iron and into the second coil. And so here is the reason why you need alternating current for a transformer to work. In order to induce a current into a coil with a magnetic field, the magnetic field needs to be changing. It cannot be constant. So if you connect a battery to this, yes, it will be a magnet. But the magnetic field will only change when you connect the battery. So you'll connect the battery and there will be a very short period where this transformer will work, but then this thing will fully saturate it, the magnetic field that it can create, and it won't change anymore, and it will remain a constant magnetic field, and you won't induce any voltage in the secondary side. So what the AC does is, since it's constantly charging up and then charging down to zero and then going down to negative, charging back up to zero, then to positive, and again, that creates a constantly changing magnetic field. So how it starts is, it will start, say you're starting at 0 volt potential. As you go up in voltage, it will grow, the magnetic field will grow in size, and it will have an orientation, north this way, south this way. But then it will start to shrink again, and then it'll get to 0, and then when it gets to negative, the magnetic field will actually flip upside down, and then it will grow again. And then when it's in the negative, the north will actually be this way, and the positive will be this way. And of course, like I said before, the iron core, it channels the magnetic flux, the flux lines, through to this coil. And how like I said earlier, I don't know if you actually read this part, but if this is actually a step down transformer. So what that means is, there's the primary coil has more windings than the secondary coil, And so what that will do is that will actually reduce the voltage but increase the current. And the reason that happens is because since there's less turns, there's only the voltage. So the voltage, when you're charging it on the primary side, the voltage determines the size of the magnetic field. And so when you're going in, the amount of turns determines how big of a magnetic field the things can absorb. But all the magnetic field still gets absorbed, but it only takes this much voltage, and the rest is converted into more electrons moving, which equates to more current, more amps. And so a step up transformer actually works in the opposite, and you can also drive transformers both ways. These primary sides and voltage sides are arbitrary. You can flip them, and so say I was driving it from this side, and now this would be the primary coil. I would drive a voltage into here, and then this would go into more coil turns, and so you would get more voltage. But since you can't just create energy out of nothing, it would not be at the same current that you drive it at. Your current output would actually be reduced. So that is how a transformer works.